Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with episode 11 of My Little Pony Make Your Mark. So, last time we had some Misty cuteness, but most of the episodes centered around these Jinxie games, or whatever they were called. I know they're not called Jinxie games. That was, I think, just what the episode was called. um, and they were convoluted and dumb. There was no sense of any reality to them, and that was the point. Like, they were meant to be convoluted and dumb. That was the joke. um, but yeah, Hitch tried to participate in everything. Zip and Pip were trying to figure out what the hell was going on with their mom, and Alphabiddle found out that they're an item now, which is a thing, I guess. And on top of that, we had Sparky getting up to some mischief with the tree that was there. One of the trees. The tree that Sparky got into mischief with. um and yeah, everything ended up working out in the end. And really not much happened other than just some fun pony shit. Misty's part was the most interesting part, but even though she was there to try and, kidnap Sparky again because of Opaline's orders, in the end she just found a picture of herself being accepted by the rest of the crew. Just got emotional damage from that and decided to take a nap. So nothing really progressed there, one way or the other. I guess the big thing it was useful for was showcasing her continuing change to the side of good. Excuse me. And I don't know exactly how it's going to go. I don't know exactly when this full switchover is going to happen. I'm still thinking the end of the season, which, as we talked about last time, seems to be happening this year, because this year we're supposed to get two more drops. We're supposed to, I believe, in September and December, we're supposed to get one more drop of Make Your Mark, and then we're getting something called Secrets of Starlight, which appears to be a season 2. So we're going to finish off the season with the next drop, and then go to season 2 as well. So yeah, going to be pretty interesting to see how this all turns out. But I'm excited for more. I'm just always excited for more pony. So, but right quick, I'm going to mention it here instead of just the afterthoughts, as I might forget. Regarding the question of whether or not I'm going to do Tell Your Tale after this, I've been kind of mulling it over. And I'm still unsure. But, I've seen, a comment say, oh, if you're not really into it, maybe you shouldn't do it and everything. And it's I get that. I get what you're saying, but it's maybe just a fair idea to deal with the lack of otherwise consistent pony content. Plus, they're short. I could react to maybe only a couple at a time and record a reaction to those in less than 15 minutes. So it's not like I have to do a bunch all at once every time and dedicate myself to this same amount of time as an episode of this, or even longer. I can do that as I please. It'll be more controllable, I guess you could say, with the fact that I'll be able to choose that. With Make Your Mark, it's oh, I have a special, or I have episodes And that's pretty much it. And I don't get to choose the time that I'm reacting. It's pretty much always the same. The only variable is how long I spend talking to you guys in the pre-thoughts and afterthoughts. Um, so it might be a good idea. While I haven't liked Tell Your Tale from what I have seen as much as Make Your Mark, I think it's, let's be honest, a little more dumbed down comparatively. Um, and honestly, I just prefer the 3D art style with these characters, especially with considering the 2D art style they went with for Tell Your Tale. Uh, I just I think we'll have to see. I'm gonna probably wait until we close out this season. Like once we do the final reaction to, or not this season, but this chapter. Once we close out this chapter with the final video that we do, which will probably just be episode 14. Um, we're going to I'll determine in that video at that time whether or not I want to do Tell Your Tale, because it's going to depend on how much I feel like I'm having pony withdrawals and everything, how much I feel like I really want to get to more. That's going to be the biggest determining factor. And it's always sorry for the yawning. It's early. um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But for the meantime, we're going to get into this and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction. And, by the way, I know I'm interrupted. I forgot to mention this. We are watching from Netflix again because I figured out how to make it record off of Opera GX. Basically, I just had to change a setting in my settings, and now it works. I don't understand that kind of computer shit, but apparently it works. I just had to change a setting in the browser settings, I guess. Um, but yeah, so we are recording from there. But anyways, as I was saying, let's just start it over. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. What a cut, right? It's like, wow, okay. You're just going to cut it just like that. It's a little rude, I think. Um, is it going to continue right off of that next time? I don't know. Because we have like 3 more episodes to go for this batch. And my plan, I'm telling you right now, is to get all of them done before TrotCon. We have just about 2 weeks, I believe. Let me check to be sure. I believe it's about 2 weeks. Yeah. Because I'm going to be leaving Friday the 7th, and that's 2 weeks from tomorrow. So I plan on getting the last 3 episodes done before then. And yeah. We might be getting to Misty turning over a new leaf well before I expected. But this episode had some big stuff. Like, let's talk about the A plot that I honestly felt more like a B plot in this episode, and that's the Sunny Side Up plot. Even though the episode was named after it, it was obviously meant to be the A plot. Honestly, with the way this episode was structured and just the overall tone and feeling of it, the Sunny Side Up stuff with Canterlove Studios felt very much like the B plot. It was a minor thing, all things considered, just following up on what we got with getting Canterlove Studios set up a couple episodes ago, and was just about getting getting ponies interested in trying it out. Hitch and Sunny are tasked with doing a cooking show, showcasing smoothies and whatnot. And Sunny seems to be for the idea and seems to be really good at doing the hosting thing, but Hitch is very nervous, and so it causes a lot of mischief and an unintentional food fight, basically, that just gets out of control. And the ponies love it at first. Like, the ponies watching are, like, really into it and are just really enjoying the shenanigans. But they start to lose interest, and as Sunny and Hitch start to actually work well together, the interest kind of plummets. But they do manage to hold everyone's attention enough to get them to want to do their own stuff at Canner Love Studios. It's a sweet, nice little plot here that just it has some great Sunny Hitch moments, which are fantastic for just continuing to showcase how they are childhood friends and everything. It has it has a really good speech and everything. Though Sunny goes very ridiculously specific with her example. It's like you're literally just referring to Misty here, without even knowing it. But yeah, it was enjoyable. But let's be honest, this episode was all about the real A plot. Like, forget the sunny side up stuff. The real A plot of this episode comes from Misty. Opaline is upset that Misty has failed again and decides to take it out on her by basically locking her up, basically imprisoning her in her room with magic. Not only blocking the door with magic, but also, basically locking Misty's hooves down. So, while Opaline goes out to try and find the dragon gem, Misty is trying to get to her phone. And she ends up being able to break herself out and watches Sunny Side Up to see how everyone's doing and kind of comes to realize that she wants to be friends with them. And she actually openly realizes this. She doesn't want to catch the Sparky. She doesn't want to turn against them. She doesn't want to do anything to hurt them because she cares about them. And she's really realizing it for the first time here, I would say. Because it like really started last episode with her seeing the photo and everything. And obviously her taking like a little nap and just cuddling the photo, which was adorable. But it really goes heavy into that in this episode, with her just kind of talking herself through it and realizing that, yeah, she just wants this to be, she wants her entire thing with Opaline to be over. She already realizes that Opaline doesn't care for her, and now she's kind of realizing that Opaline's not really going to help her with what she wants anyway. That Opaline's just using her. And that she'll be in a much better place if she leaves Opaline and stays with the other ponies instead. So she's planning to get out of there. She even packs her stuff, but, how is she going to do this without being able to get out? So she's basically just talking to herself and pumping herself up without actually doing anything. And Opaline eventually gets home. I guess it said it was like 12 hours later. Like, Jesus, girl. You were, like, how long of that was the stream going on with Sunny and Hitch? Was that, like, that long? That's insane if so. And if it wasn't, if a lot of that time was just spent talking to herself, it's like, Jesus, girl, you really do need to get out of there. And it's nothing against her. It's like legitimately saying, like, this is not healthy for her. She needs to get out of there because it's affecting her. And we've seen that already, of course. But it's like it's becoming more and more clear. And I really feel like we're really kind of going to it now. Like last time, it kind of felt like, okay, we're still working our way up, but this time it's like it went from a slow decline to like just this massive jump up. Like Misty's practically already planning to leave Opaline, which obviously Opaline will not stand for. But if she can do it, then I would say go for it. Now, she and Opaline's planning to, like, I guess take her to get the dragon gem the next day or something. But if she maybe has Misty go alone, or next time she sends Misty out to Maritime Bay, maybe Misty can just, not return. It would be a possibility. It would be kind of simple, but it could work. It could just, because let's be honest, Opaline's going to be struggling without Misty. She's one of those ponies, or if you want to compare this to real life, there's these people who just like to control others and would not know what to do if they don't have anyone to control. This is a lot. This is a very big thing with like abusive parents, for example. Um, they use their control and intimidation over their children to basically make their children slaves to them, to do whatever they want, while not taking on anything themselves. They use the excuse, oh, I go out of the house and make money for this family, as an excuse, and that's incredibly toxic ideology. Because it's just an excuse. It's an excuse to abuse and to mistreat your children. The entire idea that, like, you have to force your children to, like, do all of this shit on your whim in order to, quote unquote, build up their work ethic or something like that is really toxic. Like, I'm of the mindset that children should not be forced to do everything around the house, all the chores and stuff. Like, maybe giving them one thing is acceptable, but that's not their job. You're the one who owns the house. You're the one who has the family. The parents should be the ones to be, taking on that responsibility. Forcing it upon your kids is not okay, especially when they're young. It's not their job. They're kids. All they should need to do is play, have fun, discover more about themselves and the world, and learn. That's really what they need. Forcing this shit on them is not going to help. Again, maybe one chore, and have them help with it. Don't force it entirely on them. Like, maybe have them help with dishes. Like, you wash the dishes, hand the dish to them, and they put it in the dishwasher. That would work. You could even make it a fun little game so that it's more enjoyable for them. That would be a great idea. Or even somehow maybe help them, or have them help with food preparation. Have them, like, get stuff out of the cupboards and the fridge and all, if they can reach. And obviously don't have them handle, like, sharp utensils or anything, but the point is Misty is very much in this kind of position where Opaline is kind of forcing her to do everything because she doesn't want to do anything herself. Like, the entire time she actually goes out and does something in this episode, she bitches about it the entire fucking time. She just absolutely bitches because she's not used to actually doing anything for herself. She basically admits to that. She says that she's been sitting around and scheming for so long that She she's kind of what did she say? What was the wording? That she's gotten out of shape, something along those lines. And it's like, yeah, because you're lazy, because you force it all on what basically amounts to as your kid. Like, let's be honest, it's already basically said that Misty is an orphan who Opaline, quote unquote, adopted. Um, there might be more to that, to be fair, though. But yeah, it's pretty clear that she has that kind of position over her, even if there's obviously no actual mother daughter connection or statements made. Like Opaline does not like say she's Misty's mother. She does not tell Misty that. There is no there's nothing there. Misty sees Opaline as Opaline, as more of her master than anything. Um, but yeah, it's not quite like Rapunzel and Mother Gothel in that manner, because Mother Gothel very much positioned herself as Rapunzel's mother. Like that was very important to the story, actually, and to the music, because the song "Mother Knows Best," which great villain song, but not the point. The point is, it still has that similar kind of relationship to it, and Misty is very much being abused for a lot of reasons and everything. But even just the fact that Opaline forces this all on her without doing anything herself, just to, get out of any responsibility for her plans or actions, it's gross. And Misty is starting to realize that. But one of the biggest parts of this episode, without question, was a small little hint at Opaline's backstory. We don't get a lot, but we do find out some big information. We find out that Opaline predates G4. Like, we knew she had to be around during the time of G4 because she knew about all of that and everything. That's not a big surprise or anything. But we do find out that she actually predates that by a lot. Like, she grew up with Celestia and Luna. Like, we saw Celestia and Luna as fillies. I don't think we've ever seen that before. Like, we've seen them younger, but not as fillies. And we find out that at least part of her motivation, I definitely think there's more to it, but at least part of her motivation for, becoming who she is because Celestia and Luna ignored her. Because they were the sun and the moon and she was fire. Which is a really interesting lore, too. She was the alicorn of fire. Like, that's interesting. Um, and it also makes me wonder, have there been other alicorns out there? Like, besides the ones we saw in G4 and everything, who came after Celestia and Luna? Like, I always thought Celestia and Luna were the only two alicorns. Like, before Twilight and Flurry Heart and Cadence and all. I thought they were the only two. But I guess we were wrong. And mind you, this is obviously changes that have been made. Back in the times of G4, like, they were the only two at first. Like, that was canon at first, but the canon's been changed, and that can happen. And I'm fine with that, because it actually kind of explains why we didn't know about her. She was shunned. She was, let's be honest, maybe a little mistreated. That doesn't excuse her actions and all in the current day, but just saying. That explains why we didn't know about her. Celestia and Luna shunned her. They didn't, they ignored her. So we never got to see anything she was doing. And her struggles with Twilight probably came after the events of the series, or at least like between when the main stuff ends and the epilogue of G4. Because G4's epilogue does take place some amount of years later. Everyone is much older. Twilight is taller. Spike is buff. We know the epilogue takes place some amount of years later, like decades, I would say. Like actually multiple decades. I'd probably say at least 40 years, honestly. 30 or 40 years. 30 or 40 sounds about right. No, because all the ponies, all the main six look notably older. Like Rarity has gray in her mane. So it's like it definitely takes place a notable amount of time later. It's not just like 5 or 10 years. So, yeah. But the point is that that means before that epilogue part of G4, the final episode of season 9, sometime before then, but after everything else that happened in that episode prior, that's when Opaline must have come into play. When she, started to actually act on her probably anger. Celestia and Luna had retired by that point. But she was probably also angry that Twilight was ascended, probably Cadence too. And with Twilight's like insistence on friendship and everything, that probably really bothered her. Because she was never given that. So it's like this is a lot of big lore that is definitely going to affect how we see a lot of things going forward, and how we see a lot of things from the past. And that's great. I love this kind of stuff. And again, nothing excuses Opaline's current actions or beliefs or whatever you want to say. It's like, I'm not trying to say that she suddenly becomes sympathetic, because far from it. Honestly, this episode made her even worse. But we know at least part of her reasoning now. You can acknowledge that she has reasons for becoming evil without, excusing the evil. Just like in real life. You can understand why a person might do evil things or become a bad person. But that doesn't excuse their actions, their words, their beliefs, or anything. You can understand without excusing. A lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand that just knowing why and getting why someone could turn to evil, they think that automatically means you're vouching for them, and that's not the case. It's a problem with people, especially online, that they can't just, realize that it's not advocation to understand someone's motivations. Advocation requires you to actually side with them. Understanding motivation just means you get it. You understand their point of view, but you don't necessarily agree with them. They can go hand in hand, but they don't always. And more people just need to realize that. And, especially online. Though, to be fair, I think a lot of people online also are just trolls who, just say shit like this and just don't understand shit like this on purpose because they're just being assholes. To be fair. But there's also a lot who just genuinely don't really get it. But yeah, this was a really, really good episode. Like I said, the Misty stuff felt more like the A plot, even though it was clearly being billed as the B plot. It just felt so much bigger and more important. The episode started with it, and it seemed to focus on it more than the Sunny Side Up stuff. So it actually felt more like a big deal to this one. But like I said, We're gonna get through the last 3 episodes before I go to TriCon in 2 weeks. So yeah, we're gonna have fun with that, and then I'll determine by the time we get to the last episode if I am going to do Tell Your Tale as well after this. Obviously, not including the episodes I already have seen before. Just continuing from where I've seen up to, which isn't a lot. I've seen, all things considered, very few of them. I do know a few things because with as many as have come out, it's just kind of impossible not to. But yeah, I don't know most of them, and I feel like I feel like I'd still get something out of them. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if I feel like I'm going to be starved for ponies after closing out this chapter. But in the meantime, yeah, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of My Little Pony Make Your Mark? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.